Relationships can be beautiful, but they can also become a trap if you're not careful. Too many women give away their power without even realizing it, compromising their identity, accepting disrespect, and sacrificing their happiness just to keep a man. The truth is, the way you handle yourself in a relationship determines how you will be treated. Some mistakes may seem small at first, but over time, they can completely shift the balance of power. A strong woman doesn't beg for love, tolerate mistreatment, or allow anyone to dictate her worth. She stands firm, knowing that the right relationship will never require her to lose herself. Understanding what not to do with a man is just as important as knowing what to do. Because the moment you set clear boundaries and refuse to accept less, you change the game. Not just for yourself, but for every woman who watches you stand your ground. Never lose your identity for a man. Ladies, your identity is everything. It is the sum of your passions, dreams, values, and beliefs. It's what makes you unique. Yet, one of the biggest mistakes women make in relationships is sacrificing their identity to fit into a man's world. And it often happens so subtly that you don't even realize it until it's too late. At first, it may seem like small compromises. Giving up a hobby because he's not interested, skipping social events because he prefers staying in, or even adjusting the way you dress to match his preferences. But over time, these small changes start to add up, and before you know it, you barely recognize yourself. This is where many women lose their independence without even realizing it. A strong, independent woman should never mold herself to please a man. The right man will love you for who you are, not for who you become just to make him comfortable. If you're constantly adapting, adjusting, or shrinking yourself to fit into his life, you are doing yourself a disservice. Relationships should be about mutual growth, not one-sided sacrifice. Another thing to watch out for is losing sight of your personal goals and ambitions. Many women enter relationships with dreams and aspirations but slowly start putting them on hold for the sake of their partner. Maybe you wanted to start a business, go back to school, or travel the world. But now, those plans seem distant because they don't align with his. If a man truly loves and respects you, he will encourage you to chase your dreams, not hinder them. It's also important to maintain your friendships and personal connections. Some women unknowingly isolate themselves from their support system because they become too wrapped up in their relationship. But your friends and family are the people who know you best. They are there to remind you of who you are when you forget. A relationship should never make you feel like you have to cut ties with the people who matter to you. So, how do you ensure that you never lose yourself in a relationship? Simple. Always prioritize self-awareness. Check in with yourself regularly. Ask, am I still pursuing my goals? Am I still engaging in the things that make me happy? Am I changing in a way that feels good to me? Or am I just changing to keep the peace? Being in a relationship should add to your life, not take away from it. Love should be a partnership where both individuals thrive as their authentic selves. Never sacrifice your identity for love because the right person will never ask you to. Never tolerate disrespect or manipulation. Respect is the foundation of any healthy relationship. Without it, love means nothing. Yet many women find themselves tolerating disrespect and manipulation, often without realizing it until the damage has been done. As a Sigma female, you know your worth, and you should never allow any man to treat you as less than you deserve. Disrespect can come in many forms. It's not just about the obvious things like yelling, name-calling, or public humiliation, though those are clear red flags. Sometimes it's subtle. It might be dismissive comments about your dreams, making jokes at your expense, or belittling your opinions. If a man frequently invalidates your feelings, ignores your boundaries, or makes you feel unimportant, that's disrespect. And once you allow it, it only gets worse. Manipulation is another dangerous game. Some men use emotional tactics to control women, making them feel guilty for things they shouldn't, or twisting situations to make themselves look like the victim. Have you ever confronted a man about something hurtful he did, only for him to turn it around and make you feel like the bad guy? That's manipulation. A strong, independent woman like you doesn't fall for these mind games. Another common tactic manipulative men use is gaslighting, making you doubt your own reality. You might hear things like, "That never happened," or "You're just overreacting." Over time, this can make you question your own judgment and feel like you're always in the wrong. But let's be clear, your feelings are always valid. If something bothers you, it's real, and no man should make you feel otherwise. The moment a man disrespects you or tries to manipulate you, you have two choices: address it or walk away. If you choose to address it, set clear boundaries. Let him know what is and isn't acceptable. But if he continues to disregard your feelings, that's your sign to leave. Never waste time trying to change a man who refuses to change himself. Many women tolerate disrespect because they fear being alone or believe they can fix a man. But here's the truth. Men are not projects. Your job is not to teach someone how to treat you with basic decency. A real man, the kind of man worthy of a strong woman, already knows how to respect you. At the end of the day, you set the standard for how people treat you. When you refuse to tolerate disrespect and manipulation, you send a clear message. I am strong. I am valuable. And I will never settle for less than I deserve. Never rely on a man for your happiness or worth. Happiness and self-worth come from within. No man, no relationship, and no amount of external validation can give you what you don't already have inside yourself. As a Sigma female, you are independent and self-sufficient, and you should never place the responsibility for your joy or confidence in the hands of a man. One of the biggest mistakes women make in relationships is believing that love will complete them. Society has long pushed the idea that a woman is only truly happy when she finds a man. But this couldn't be further from the truth. If you rely on a man to make you feel valued, loved, or secure, you give him too much power over your emotions. And when that relationship is tested, or worse, if it ends, you're left feeling empty. That's because you never built happiness within yourself first. A strong woman knows that her happiness is her own responsibility. Before entering any relationship, you should already feel fulfilled in your own life. Ask yourself, do I have personal goals that excite me? Do I enjoy my own company? Am I content with who I am without a man by my side? If the answer to these questions is no, then it's time to focus on yourself before involving someone else. Many women also fall into the trap of seeking validation from men. They need constant reassurance to feel beautiful, smart, or worthy. But the truth is, you don't need a man to tell you that you're enough. You are enough, right now, exactly as you are. When you truly believe this, no one can shake your confidence, because it doesn't come from anyone but you. Another danger of relying on a man for happiness is that it creates an unhealthy dynamic. If your mood depends on his attention, his words, or his approval, then you're no longer in control of your own emotions. A Sigma female doesn't let her happiness be dictated by someone else. Instead, she builds a life so fulfilling that any man who enters it is simply an addition, not the foundation. So how do you ensure that your happiness and worth remain in your hands? Focus on personal growth, invest in your passions, nurture meaningful friendships, take care of your body and mind, and chase the things that light you up inside. When you create a life that brings you joy on its own, the right man will only enhance it, never define it. At the end of the day, a relationship should be a partnership, not a source of identity. Never forget that you were whole before any man came into your life, and you'll remain whole no matter what. Never compromise your standards. Your standards are a reflection of your self-respect. They define what you will and won't tolerate, and they set the foundation for how others treat you. As a Sigma female, you know your worth, and you should never lower your expectations just to keep a man. The moment you start compromising on your standards, you start losing yourself. Many women fall into the trap of settling for less than they deserve because they fear being alone. They tell themselves, maybe he'll change, or at least he's better than my ex. But here's the hard truth. A man who doesn't meet your standards from the beginning is unlikely to suddenly rise to them later. If you accept less than what you want, that's exactly what you'll get. Your standards should be non-negotiable. Whether it's how a man treats you, his level of ambition, his values, or the effort he puts into the relationship, you have every right to expect certain things. If you want a partner who is emotionally mature, financially responsible, and supportive of your goals, then don't settle for a man who lacks those qualities. just because you feel pressured to be in a relationship. One of the biggest signs of self-respect is being willing to walk away from anything that doesn't align with your values. If a man is inconsistent, plays games, or disrespects you in any way, you must be strong enough to say, "This isn't for me." Too many women stay in situations that drain them because they hope the man will eventually realize their worth. But a Sigma female doesn't wait to be appreciated. She removes herself from any situation where she's not valued. It's also important to recognize the difference between preferences and standards. Preferences are things like height, hobbies, or style, while standards are about character, respect, and compatibility. Never let society, friends, or even your own loneliness push you into accepting a relationship that doesn't align with your core values. Some men may call you too picky or too demanding for having high standards, but the right man will see your standards as a challenge to rise to, not as a burden. A man who truly wants to be with you will respect your expectations and meet them, not make you feel guilty for having them. At the end of the day, compromising your standards will only lead to regret. The strongest, most self-assured women are those who refuse to settle, knowing that being single and happy is far better than being in a relationship that drains them. Stay true to yourself, stand firm in what you deserve, and never let fear or pressure make you accept less. Never let a man control your life. Independence is one of the most powerful traits a Sigma female possesses. You are in charge of your own decisions, your own dreams, and your own happiness. No man should ever dictate how you live your life. The moment you allow someone to control you, you start losing your freedom, your confidence, and most importantly, yourself. Control in a relationship doesn't always come in obvious forms. It's not just about a man telling you what to do. It can be subtle, disguised as concern or love. It might start with small things, like him questioning your choices, criticizing your friends, or making you feel guilty for spending time away from him. Over time, these small things can turn into bigger ones. Him making decisions for you, isolating you from people who care about you, or even dictating your career, your finances, or your lifestyle. A healthy relationship is based on mutual respect and partnership, not dominance. A man who truly loves and respects you will never try to control you. Instead, he will support your independence and encourage you to be your best self. If you ever feel like you need permission to do things that make you happy, that's a huge red flag. One common way controlling men operate is by using emotional manipulation. They might make you feel like you're being selfish for making choices that prioritize your happiness. They might say things like, "If you really loved me, you wouldn't do that," or "I just don't want you to make a mistake." But here's the truth. Love is not about control. Love is about trust. If a man truly cares about you, he will trust your ability to make your own decisions without trying to control the outcome. Another major red flag is financial control. Some men will try to make a woman financially dependent on them so that she has to stay. They might discourage her from working, take charge of all the finances, or guilt trip her into relying on them. A Sigma female never allows this to happen. Always maintain financial independence because money equals freedom, and freedom equals choices. So, how do you ensure that you never let a man control your life? The answer is simple. Stay in control of yourself. Make your own choices, have your own money, set your own goals, and never let anyone make you feel guilty for being independent. A strong woman does not seek permission to live her life. She walks her own path, and the right man will walk beside her, not ahead of her, dragging her along. Never forget, you are the leader of your own life, and no one, not even the man you love, should ever take that away from you. At the end of the day, relationships should add to your life, not take away from it. As a Sigma female, you are independent, strong-willed, and confident, and the choices you make in love should reflect that. The key to a fulfilling relationship is never losing yourself in the process. You should always stand firm in your values, demand respect, and refuse to settle for anything less than what you deserve. So many women make the mistake of believing that they need a man to feel complete, but the truth is, you were already whole before he came into your life. A man should never define your happiness, worth, or purpose. If he does not uplift you, support your growth, and treat you with the respect you deserve, he has no place in your life. The best relationships are partnerships where both people bring value, love, and encouragement, not control, disrespect, or dependency. One of the greatest strengths of a Sigma female is her ability to walk away from situations that do not serve her. Unlike others who stay in toxic relationships out of fear, loneliness, or societal pressure, a Sigma female understands that being alone is far better than being with the wrong person. She is comfortable in her solitude, knowing that her happiness does not rely on anyone else. This mindset is powerful because it means that when she chooses to be in a relationship, it is because she wants to be, not because she needs to be. It's also important to remember that setting boundaries is not selfish, it's necessary. Boundaries protect your energy, your self-respect, and your emotional well-being. If a man is unwilling to respect them, then he does not deserve access to you. Never be afraid to say no when something doesn't feel right. Never feel guilty for prioritizing yourself, your goals, and your happiness. The right man will respect these boundaries and appreciate you for having them. If you take away anything from this, let it be this: you are in control of your own life. You do not need to shrink yourself to be loved. You do not need to accept disrespect just to keep a relationship going. You do not need to rely on a man for validation, happiness, or security. You are enough exactly as you are, and the right person will recognize and cherish that. So, keep standing tall. Keep making choices that empower you. Keep refusing to settle. Because a Sigma female doesn't just survive, she thrives. And when you live by these principles, you attract the kind of love that aligns with your highest self. If this message resonated with you, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share your thoughts in the comments. Let's continue empowering each other to live strong, independent, and fulfilling lives.